like that.
Deep to right field. Harper. Oh my God.
So Red October is back.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Coconut Curry Podcast. Another great episode coming at you today. If you enjoyed that cold open, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps us out a lot as we support the Phillies in their adventure to win another World Series, and as we support any other teams that are going on, namely right now the Eagles and the 49ers.
Because
Kelly
I am
Green
no
Day.
longer a Giants fan, even though they did decide to win literally right before we started recording this podcast.
And then the 49ers decided to lose last week.
That is true. They did lose to the Browns.
Are the Giants cursed or are you cursed?
I know I'm cursed.
That's true.
We've been new this.
If you're new around here, we're three college guys at the University of Pittsburgh. We talk sports. If you like our takes, please be sure to stick around, like, comment, subscribe. It helps us out a lot. And we're going to get right in talking about the MLB. Like we said last episode, we don't talk about the MLB often, but when we do, it's because it's Red October or because it's the playoffs. Start with the Astros coming back down from 0-2. It looked lost completely. Like I thought the Astros had fallen off. I thought the end of the Astros era was upon us, which was going to be great. Super pumped about that. But then they come back, win 3 straight games on the road in Texas.
Yeah, that was huge. That was absolutely huge for the Astros. Because, like, they did, you were right. Like, the first 2 games, they looked like they were in shambles. Like, it was over. They couldn't do anything. And then they won 2 straight. And then last game was like, okay, it's like kind of a, or no, I think it was the game before that where Altuve hit that 3-run nuke, like, into, like, the 32nd row of.
We're talking about the 9th inning?
Ninth inning.
Yeah, that was game 5.
Game 5, where he just hit an absolute piss missile into the back. And then my favorite was where they show him looking at an iPad. He looks like a little kid that got iPad time.
Yeah.
Because the way he's holding it, and he's so short that, like, he's like leaning up onto the fence railing, and he's like looking up at his little iPad. But yeah, so whenever Altuve gets home runs, he gets more iPad time to watch Coco Melon, I guess. But you know, they are turning back into the wagon that we knew the Astros were at one point. Which is kind of scary because I hate the Astros.
Well, so what we were kind of saying is like, oh, it feels like the Astros like own October.
Yeah.
In a sense, like we always joke, it's like the Phillies, like Red October and everything, but the Astros have just been historically great
insane
in October and in the playoffs.
Which they've been banging some trash cans, but we'll ignore that part.
Yeah, and then it's like for one game, like I wasn't really concerned about for their sake. I don't really care about the Astros, but I wasn't really concerned about their play down 1-0. I was like, okay, you know, it happens. Like you lose a baseball game. And then it was 2-0 and I was like, oh man, they're gonna have to go on the road.
Yeah.
And then they obviously win the 3 straight. And now it feels like this game 6, which is happening tonight on Sunday. So everything we say here, again, you'll be able to criticize us and what we say.
Yeah. You'll be able to absolutely rag on us if we're so far off. Because for all we know, the Rangers are just going to come out and hit like 10 home runs in a game.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
20.
It's funny because you got Framber on the mound tonight.
Yeah.
And he did not have a good outing the last time he pitched. It was atrocious. He got pulled after like 2 1/3 or 2 2/3 inning. So it'll be really funny to see what happens tonight because the Rangers could come out on the road, win a 3rd straight road game, and all of a sudden we have a game 7 on our hands, which that'd be really good for baseball. The series is really interesting, especially because it's a Texas matchup. I feel like the travel's been short. You can have a lot of fans traveling between where the Texans play, which I think is outside Austin, and then going over to Houston. Like you can have some fan movement throughout there. So I think it's a really interesting series. I did want to mention, it's really off topic though, I hate indoor baseball stadiums. Yeah. I think they look so ugly.
The domes are not it. They're not it.
What's weird too is like, I know it's hot down like in the summer for those months, but I have to think of a better way to like make it like open. Like the Phillies, for example, gets cold in November. Yeah. Where you're like, oh, maybe it's too cold to be playing baseball out there. But I'm just not sure why their stadiums, like, is the heat really that bad that they can't play?
I mean, depending on, like, if it's in Texas, like, you can get up, like, at least over 100 degrees.
Yeah.
And, like, if you're playing a doubleheader
especially
in
like
Texas.
well, in Diamondbacks makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, like, you're in Arizona. Like, there's going to be nothing out there besides sun.
I think we just need retractable roofs.
I think realistically, that's going to be the only thing that you can really do.
Too much money.
Like, it's exactly because the thing is about baseball, especially, is like, as like a lot of these owners just do not like spending money, but the ones that do spend all of their money. So you get these like very small market teams like in Arizona, or it's weird to say like a Texas, like they're not as big of a market, which is insane to think about. Baseball in Texas not being
Also, I think
huge.
it's just super strange that their team name is
the Texas Rangers, and
then there's the Houston Astros.
There's the Houston
in the
Astros.
same state.
Yeah, that's an odd one. They weren't really thinking about that one.
No, they didn't take much thought
But
into that.
I do like the idea of like their mascot being the Texas Rangers, but like you didn't really think too much about like, oh yeah, we might have like another team here eventually, but whatever. We'll ignore that. But yeah, I think realistically the only way to really fix it is retractable roofs, but you're right, Raj.
They will
no
not
one
spend
they're
money
not spending
on it.
money. They don't care.
They should though in the future.
They absolutely should.
I think there's a lot of talk about the A's getting moved to Vegas. If there's one team to do retractable roof,
it could be Vegas.
it could be Vegas.
I thought it was already. I think it's confirmed already.
Yeah, it's confirmed.
No, yeah, it's confirmed, but they won't
But-
move there for another year.
Yeah,
or so,
it'll
though.
still be because
And I don't believe they have a stadium built.
No,
they have a
'cause-
land plotted out.
Yes, they still need to build that, but I think you're right. Like even like to a certain extent of like being able to at least like block the sun in
Yeah.
a certain way. Like it doesn't need to be a full retractable dome because that would be insane to try to do. But if you were at least able to like legitimately block the sun, at least cast some shadow onto the field, that would drop the temperatures by a significant margin. So like even if it's not a full retractable, but or at least just like a partial, like okay, well we at least are just trying to block as much sun as possible over on this side. And then once the sun starts going down, it gets pretty cold out west. Like once the sun goes down, so you don't really need to worry too much about like those later game slots. But it's the issue is always money. No one wants to spend the money to make their athletes better, but they don't care because they just want more money.
Yeah, I just hate looking at the stadium. It's like
They're just so
I think we talked about it in the other episode. Tropicana Field is so
it's disgusting.
disgusting, and just looking at this baseball play. Meanwhile, you have good like Citizens Bank Park doesn't have like the best backdrop of any place.
No, it's a pretty good backdrop.
but it's a decent backdrop, and
Yeah.
I think just the vibes are different outside. Same thing. We're in Pittsburgh. PNC Park is beautiful.
Gorgeous.
PNC's insane.
It's arguably the best.
The
Like
Giant
backdrop.
Stadium
Yeah.
is really nice.
Colorado's stadium where it's
Rockies,
just
yeah.
the Rocky Mountains in the background. I know the Orioles at the
Camden Yards.
Camden Yards. They have another amazing backdrop there. So looks like, by the way, just sorry, very quick side note. Looks like
Wow.
we're gonna get a barn burner here in Kansas City against the Chargers. It's already 17-10, and the Chargers just threw like probably like a 50-60
Yeah.
yard pass right there. Justin Herbert threw an absolute
Palmer
nuke
was
there.
wide open. Wow.
Oh, he's on my fantasy team. Cool. Anyway, moving on.
Yay for fantasy. But aside from the stadium talk aside, which I do like some stadium talk, I feel like the Astros are destined to win today.
Yep.
Like it's hard when you flip the momentum that hard.
I don't think so. The Astros are terrible at home.
Well, they've been terrible at home since they couldn't hit the trash cans.
That's true.
They were historically good with the trash cans.
Now they're not.
Now they're not, which is kind of interesting, but whatever.
The question is, the pitching matchup is in their favor, I would say.
Mhm.
So
That is true.
I think I really want it to go 7. I think it would be fun.
That would be awesome if it did.
It's kind of like this overlap between the MLB,
and the
NFL, and NBA.
NBA now starting.
Somebody
yeah.
they have to figure it out because it's way too much going on right now. I could care less about the NBA season right now because
It's just
the
starting.
NFL is
Midway through.
and just crazy.
Yeah, insane.
And the MLB, especially being Phillies fans right now, it's like I cannot focus on the NBA preseason at all. And the opening games are this week at the tail end of the week.
And literally the thing is about the NBA is like it's stacking up to be a really good season.
It's
like
gonna
it
be a
looks
great
like
season.
very, very interesting where a lot of like smaller market teams actually look really good. We got brand new storylines everywhere, but literally all anybody cares about right now is wait, who just lost in the NFL? Wait, you're telling me the Bills just lost to the Patriots? What is happening? Meanwhile,
No, that wouldn't happen.
Meanwhile, Victor Wembanyama is jumping like 35 feet into the air and swatting a ball 10 rows into the back wall.
He had the most crazy 90 seconds of basketball
Oh, I saw that.
I've ever seen.
No, so I saw somebody break this down. So I'm sorry to absolutely completely pivot off of baseball. Real quick.
More than okay.
Okay,
NBA is my
alright.
thing.
Yes. Okay. So I'm not really a big NBA person, but watching Victor Wembanyama defending at the 3-point line, at the top of the arc, have his foot on the line, reach fully over, smack a ball out of somebody's hands at the foul line, turn, start running, have his other players grab the ball, him point up to an alley-oop when he's on the other 3-point line, them throw up a lob, and him jump from like past the foul line and dunk is the craziest thing I've ever seen on an NBA.
It's
pitch.
ludicrous.
It's like, what is this dude? How is he possible? Like
Have
his
you-
dimensions don't look like they should work.
It doesn't
all.
make sense.
It doesn't make any
Have you ever
sense.
played the Icebreaker game Ninja, where you
Yes.
try to people say
He
it
would
looks
be
like he's-
undefeated at
he
that.
looks like he's playing that game, but in Ninja, if you're
Yeah.
no one's familiar with the game Ninja, essentially you have to hold your stance and try to like lunge at another person's arm. But then when you lunge, you have to hold
Here,
form.
It's like
so
you have to like try to hit my hand and like,
Mhm.
oh my god, just do the
Oh,
thing.
you want, okay, I thought you
Try
were.
to hit my hand. And then so then it's like you have to like stay there. But he's always like stretching where he's like
Yeah,
moving everywhere.
feels-
You can move.
but he does it in like he's doing it in real time, like extending his whole entire body to get it over to like wherever the ball is, and it makes no sense.
He has a 9-foot radius of
Yes.
of where he could defend.
It's not.
How
and he
is
can,
th-
and
how
he
is
can
that fair?
defend and he
That's
can
not
defend both
fair.
the paint and the 3-point line,
Because he can jump 10 feet in the air.
and he covers so much. Like if you're in a pick and roll, and like Steph Curry, Draymond Green pick and roll, he can come up on Steph, but he doesn't even need to really leave Draymond because he can wait for recover help and then sink back on Draymond because he's freaking like
He's what 7'1".
so 7'4",
7'4",
7'4".
210 weight.
Wow, jeez,
Um,
that man needs a sandwich.
Trying to find
Um,
So
but
just
still, it's
I mean,
insane.
absolutely nuts from preseason, but yeah, it's unfortunate just because I think the baseball playoffs could get more attention if NFL wasn't going on, and I think that NBA is going to get no attention until, especially if you're looking at like the Sixers market right now. I don't think,
Phillies are dominating that. Right?
yeah, I mean everybody within the Sixers organization has been talking about how there's not much interest in the Sixers right now because of what the Phillies are doing, which makes sense, but this issue could be avoided if the MLB season just ended earlier
Yeah.
and not overlap with the NBA season, but I digress.
Whatever.
Hopefully the Astros game's good tonight. Hopefully Game
Yeah.
7 comes up. That's
Mhm.
I think that's what we're all hoping for. Game 7
Because it's just fun.
Best 2 words in sports. Game 7.
Game 7.
Moving on to the Phillies. Raj, it's been a rocky ride.
Yeah, those. What was it? Game 3. I don't know what happened in
Is that
Arizona.
Kimbrel?
No, that was game 4.
So
Oh.
So right now the Phillies are up 3-2 in the series. We're 2-0, looking super duper strong in Philadelphia. Kind of looked like Arizona might lose in 4. Maybe that series goes 5. Garrett Stubbs is going to be jumping in the pool in the back of Coors Field, and then all of a sudden they lose game 3, they lose game 4, and not in games that you go, Arizona just outplayed them. Simply, it was game 3. Game was tied going into like later innings, and Craig walks. They start walking guys.
I remember
So
that.
Craig walks 2, and then Soto comes in at one point. I think he walks a guy home, and then Alvarado comes in and lets up a single into the outfield. So they put up 2 or whatever. That game ends like 4-2 or whatnot. So bullpen kind of rough there. Then you have the turnaround bullpen game. Sanchez, starting pitcher for the Phillies, goes 3 innings. Bullpen comes in and just an absolute disaster.
I hope we left Kimbrel in Arizona. I don't understand. Like, we were up 5-2 at some point, something like that.
And that
5-1?
game was our game. It wasn't like game
Yeah.
4 was
That was the Phillies game to win.
yeah.
We shot ourselves in the foot. That bullpen was a disaster class. Orion Kerkering comes in, walks 4 straight.
I think he only walked 2.
I don't know.
It felt like 4.
It felt like 4.
Well, the problem with the Phillies the whole time was they kept walking guys.
Yeah.
And like so you
just
can
giving him free bases.
exactly. You can understand when a pitcher might not have the command or the batters are just getting a good read and hitting balls into the outfield, but the problem was the Phillies were consistently getting guys on during the last 2 games by walking them. And when you walk especially when you walk the first batter in a count, one person on, no outs. Now the Diamondbacks are a really good stealing baseball team. You wouldn't think it watching this series.
Yeah.
But just a meltdown. I mean, that was like probably one of the worst moments I've ever had watching Philly sports was losing game 4. I was just looking at my phone, absolutely distraught over what had happened.
Of just watching them completely just give that game away.
It sucked.
Now, fortunately, they get game 5.
That was
just
huge.
Dominated the game. Zach Wheeler, he needed to go 7 or 8 innings. He goes 7, doesn't let up a single run. I mean, a one run.
One run,
solo
but,
solo home run. I mean, you can't ask any that's a huge spot for your starting pitcher, knowing the bullpen is absolutely depleted.
Yep.
And you get every single last drop out of him on the road to win the pivotal game. And similar to the Astros series, it does not feel like the Diamondbacks are going to be able to get
they're
two
too
in
deep
Philly.
And also the thing is like I have said this, but the atmosphere in what's the name of the Philly stadium?
Citizens Bank
Citizens
Park.
Bank Park.
Citizens Bank. It's genuinely one of the biggest home field advantages in sports. Like I have I love watching baseball games like late in October, whatever, but there is no environment like that stadium where it is so unbelievably hostile, but towards the other team. But like the second that something good happens for the Phillies, it is like so unbelievably demoralizing. Hear every single person screaming at the top of their lungs. Like every single time you see like a Bryce Harper hit, let alone a home run, it is the most demoralizing thing ever. You could only be down 1-0, and it's like the game's over. Like we just lost.
And there's never a moment where you feel like the Phillies, even if something bad happens,
Are out of it.
are out of it because they're constantly re-energized by the fans. And also, this baseball team was completely built around having the home field advantage. I mean, Bryce Harper, like, and all these guys, like Bryson Stott, Brandon Marsh, even Kyle Schwarber to a certain extent, like, they all play off the crowd so well. And
they are Philly players.
And JT is another good example. Like, they just feel like they were built for the crowd. Like Trey Turner kind of came in like just this year.
Yeah.
He doesn't really feel like, I mean, he's getting involved with the team, but doesn't feel like he necessarily plays off the home field crowd
yet
as much. But so that some of the other guys just feel like they're completely energized by the crowd. And just play like a world better.
Yeah.
And Brandon Marsh just lives for the Philadelphia crowd. You can tell.
I mean, same thing with Bryce is like you'll like watch him hit an absolute nuke, and it's like, oh, this dude, like he is Philadelphia. Like he's the Philly scumbag that like everybody hates, but Philly's like, I don't care. It's Philly against the world. We're hitting nukes. You can't stop us. Like, yeah.
I am so grateful that Bryce Harper decided to join like the Philly sports community because I really just cannot imagine.
He embodies like the city of Philadelphia probably better than a lot of honestly, there aren't many Philly athletes that I can really attest to like truly embodying Philly. Like probably Jason Kelsey is another one, but like Hurts he's getting there more. But he's also great for Philly because he's like calm and isn't insane. so, which honestly is very good to have as a quarterback. So I mean, like, but truly embodying like that. I said it before, and I think a lot of people on the internet have already had this discourse. But like having that Philly energy, it's like it's something you can't really describe. But it's like Harper's a scumbag.
He just has this, he has this slight edge to him where he's some Garcia trash talks him, and no, it wasn't Garcia, was it?
No, it's not Acuna.
Arcia trash talks him in the Braves series, and he just stares him around both times as he hits double home runs.
Yeah.
But then also, if you listen to him in interviews, he's the most like calm, well-mannered, calm presence in interviews. He's got the Philly Fanatic sliding glove. He's got his cleats Philly Fanatic. He's got the headband.
His arm brace like also green?
Yeah, like it's just
like that. Like
it's all the small things he has like done for the Philadelphia sports, and I mean he's doing this all too with like. It hasn't been a smooth ride.
No.
He got injured last year, was DHing the entire playoff run.
Yeah.
This year he's playing first base because he's coming back from Tommy John surgery. I mean, this has not been like smooth sailing since he got here.
But
he's been patient. He's waited for the team to spend money on him. And all of a sudden now you're potentially looking at back-to-back World Series and
appearances.
And it's undescribable. I mean, he's definitely my favorite Philly athlete now.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And one of the best ones we had in a while. So hopefully we take this in 6. I think the Phillies should have won the series in 5. If they win it in 6, I won't be too mad. But if it takes 7, it'll be a big mistake.
Yeah, honestly, I think you guys got it in 6. I mean, because I personally don't have any beef with the Phillies because we're not rivals as Yankees fans, and also I do love watching just Philly go ballistic at any point. It's so funny watching that city burn to the ground, whether it's good or bad. But I mean, I think you guys really do. Like, there's no stopping like the Harper Schwarber like. There's no way that you are not going to leave that game without one home run. There's no shot.
No,
like there is going to be if I don't condone any sort of gambling that you can't do, but look, anytime home run for the Phillies, I don't know what the odds are. It's probably minus 10,000. Hammer it. It will happen.
Put 10,000 on it.
Put 10,000 on it. Get $1.
I think Bryce Harper to get a home run that
might be a lock.
Is a lock.
He has to.
It's going to be an interesting too. And I mean, when you get to this stage in baseball where if you lose, you go home, you start pulling starting pitchers early, bullpens come in, you're exhausting guys.
Yep.
And I could very much see a world in which this game could get ugly just because the Phillies can afford to keep Nola in for a couple of extra games, try to play it out to 7 and just try to win that game. But I mean, Diamondbacks, if you're the Kelly's pitching that game, if they go down 2-0, it could be a short leash because you can't lose. And I mean, Phillies have not been able to hit off the Arizona bullpen. It's actually been a little bit wild to me because the Diamondbacks don't have a good bullpen.
I mean, just pitch low and away, I guess.
Well, it's okay.
And pray.
Kelly got leadoff home run by Schwarber.
Yeah.
Sure did. I guess we'll say it on the pod because I've already been clowned it for enough. So I was in our group chat. I was critiquing Kyle Schwarber for his not his bad postseason, but a little bit disappointing on my behalf postseason. And I don't want to say I caused it, but ever since I mentioned that Kyle Schwarber was having a little bit disappointing of a postseason, he's been nails.
Absolute hitting piss missiles.
The first bat after I was like, you know what, Kyle Schwarber needs to play a little bit better. I didn't say he was bad. I said he needs to play a little bit better. And he walks after I said he didn't have a lot of walks.
So Kyle Schwarber is 7 for 17, hitting .412 with 5 home runs in 5 games in the NLCS, including a 461-foot home run.
Yeah, I believe he's hit 3 home runs and walked a few times since I made my he needs to play better comment. So
I think he heard you.
He also had some contact singles and doubles somehow.
Philly,
You're welcome.
can thank me.
You're welcome.
That's
you
all
can thank
me.
this guy right here. All of Philadelphia.
I saved the Philly season.
Yes. If they win a World Series, I want at least 1 ring sent to him, possibly multiple. All of the Philly merch that you have.
We could use a set for the pod.
We could listen. Okay. I would not really enjoy a full Philly set, but I mean, if you want to pay for a set for us, I mean, I'm totally down for it, or as much Philly merch as you want. But yeah,
I'm sending this right to the media team.
Oh no, yeah, send this right to the media team that you fixed Kyle Schwarber.
For sure did.
Yes. All right, there we go.
I'm the reason we're back. Any World Series predictions? There's a lot of ambiguity right now because
Phillies in 6.
over.
I don't care.
Let's see. If it's Astros, we have home field. Phillies in 6. Rangers, Phillies in games 1 and 2 will be in Texas. 3, 4. Phillies in 5 against Texas.
All right. I think I've come to the conclusion that I have a large bet riding on a large free bet. I didn't actually put that much money in. A large free bet riding on the Phillies. I think I'm letting it ride no matter what. I said it in the beginning of the year. I'm going to let it ride to the end.
Yeah.
If I lose it, it'll be double negative because my team would have lost, and I would have lost. I wouldn't have lost any money, but I would have lost potential money. But man, if the Phillies win and I have extra money to go to the Phillies parade with, I mean,
there you go.
There you go.
Buy all the merch that
it's
they
a
have.
power move. So that's 20 minutes on baseball. Never thought I'd say that.
Holy crap.
Wow.
We're talking about baseball.
Baseball is so back.
It's so back until it's completely over.
Shout out to the MLB for making rule changes and making the game more fun for everybody.
This year was very good. Good job, guys.
On to the NFL.
Yes.
Because we have said it every single week.
Good
the NFL
Lord.
The NFL has been weird, that the script writers have been great, and we don't know what to make of it. And again, this week comes through. It's not. We've only made it through the 1:00 games, and
we're currently sitting in the 4:00 games. So they're already insane.
And there's just everything is so strange and so weird. So we'll start with the Jaguars game. Jaguars beat the Saints on Thursday Night Football. That makes a lot of sense.
That was a predictable game.
Yep.
That was all right. Saints don't really look too hot on offense. They started pulling out some points towards the end there, but it just always felt like the Jags were just like one step ahead, and they were just like constantly in the lead, and they never really lost that. Like, because like even if it got a little bit closer, it just felt like all right, the Jags are still like in control of this game, and that's just kind of what it felt like the entire way through. Kamara had a pretty average game, but for PPR, he had 12 receptions, so he just completely stat padded there. But he actually looked a lot better than he did in the past. They were trying to getting him in more. ETN's been on a bit of a tear for Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence,
he had a rough couple first weeks, and he's been really good since.
He's really been turning around. Lawrence looked a lot better today. Derek Carr just kind of looks out of sync with his receivers a little bit. Like
yelling at Chris Olave.
He was yelling at because Olave stopped running his route, and then he was open. But then Derek Carr had to throw it out of bounds. So then everybody that doesn't understand football is like, "Oh, Derek Carr's getting mad at this guy who threw it out of bounds." It's like, no, he threw it out of bounds because the guy stopped the route.
Yeah,
but whatever. It was just
Jags now sneaky good, 5-2,
sneaky good 5-2,
and this is good because they've now kind of taken that handle over their division, which finally. They didn't have before.
Yes, they finally have. What do they got? Like 1 or 2 games up on like the next closest or something. Like
that.
Yeah,
they've got a little bit more control. The Texans have I think they have a bye week this week.
Yeah.
So Texans, yes. Okay, we're not Texas Texans. So they have their bye week, so they could get a little bit closer, but
2 games on the
yeah,
Texans.
2
right
Yeah,
now.
2 games. So good for the Jags. I mean, everyone thought they were going to win that division, but it was a rocky start in the beginning.
Yeah, but I think they're finally starting to pull away with their talent.
Yeah. I wanted to briefly mention the Saints because they're 3-4. It kind of feels like they really don't have a chance. Like you don't really feel like no matter even if they won their division, they have a chance to go far at all.
No.
Because of just the lack of relative talent. They are $70 million over the cap next year.
I don't know who they're paying.
It's just
Like Drew Brees. Like, are they still paying him?
I mean, they might be.
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton.
They've kicked this can down the road
And
for
they
so
are paying
long.
for it.
They're still over the cap in 2025 as well. Not that bad, but that means they're over the cap already, which means they can't cut Derek Carr because his cap hit
Yeah.
for 2025 or 2024. Like
It's
they
just dead
cannot
cap.
physically keep it on,
Jesus Christ.
which is crazy because they still have like good skill position players, but they're not relevant. They're not going to be relevant this year. They're not going to be relevant next year, and they're in the most debt of any NFL team.
That's insane. That's
It makes no sense. So the Saints have some things to figure out. I think they should probably just try to like blow it up. I don't like. I know I'm gonna say a lot during this podcast that teams should not have won games today, or they should just blow it up. But I believe the Saints should really just like take their medicine.
They
like,
should have taken their medicine a long time ago.
Trade
Yeah.
like a lot of teams would be interested in Chris Olave. Get like a first or something for him.
Or who's their really good Cam Jordan?
Cam Jordan,
their
yeah.
D tackle.
Just get him to a contender. Acquire picks. Clear out dead cap money. Like cut Derek Carr. Keep his cap. Rebuild quickly and move on. I mean, Dennis Allen's not a good head coach either. Like, I just don't think you have a lot there.
Yeah, they're finally paying for their cap, and like they're screwed.
And the reason I'm saying they should blow it up is not because I think they're an irrelevant and horrible football team. It's
No.
because they have no the
future.
cost of being okay
Is not worth
is
it.
putting them in so much debt.
Yep.
And that's the problem where it's not worth it to be good at all. Whereas there's different teams that we'll get to who are, it's kind of okay that if they're okay at football this year.
Mhm.
For example, the Texans who don't have their draft pick this year can be good because they're not paying a lot in the cap.
Exactly.
They have nothing to lose. They might as well build a good culture.
Exactly.
The Saints, on the other hand, are paying a ton of money to be
Mid.
okay
Yeah.
at football. So,
It's just not worth it.
Patriots beat the Bills, and this is
Jesus
definitely the most
Christ.
shocking result
Oh
of the.
my God.
This definitely is the most
How?
shocking result of the week.
Like 100%. Like watching that game, I was watching Red Zone and having them just randomly tune to the game, and it was 10-0 Patriots. I was like, wait, what? Like what's happening here? And then Patriots felt like, all right, they're in control. Bills finally broke through with that offensive talent. It was like, okay, they're back. They're in there. They're steering it. And then it was getting a little bit close, and we're like, okay, I mean, Bills defense, they're still good. They'll still be able to figure this out. And then Mac Jones finally decided to turn it around and put his talent to the test.
He had a swagger going in the fourth quarter too. Like
Yeah.
chip on his shoulder.
his body language was
He-
extremely engaged.
Yes, he was like chip on the shoulder. He looked like a bad man going out on that field. What was it? 7 plays, and I forget how long it took him to get down the field. It was
just
like,
it felt like a Mac Jones. It felt like a Mac Jones led drive too. It
Yeah.
felt like he orchestrated. It felt like
yeah,
that moment where like Patrick Mahomes is coming down the field and you can't stop him.
it's just like there's like everything's just going to go right because he's going to be able to deal it to the exact right person, and he's just going to chip away at that lead, and is just slowly working it down.
Which, mind you, it's Mac Jones.
It's not good. It is the
How?
Patriots offense. He was throwing to Nelson Aguilar. What is happening?
Hey, that's a Philly legend right there.
Aguilar's on the Ravens.
Yeah,
Oh, he is on the Ravens. I'm stupid. He used to be on the Patriots. I forget. It's
what's-
Jacoby Myers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jacoby
Wait,
Myers.
no. Isn't Jacoby Myers on the Ravens?
Raiders.
Yeah, he's on the
No,
Raiders,
who is
yeah.
on the team?
Wait.
Is it?
I mean,
I know.
I know Mike Gesicki was
Kendrick
going.
Bourne.
Kendrick Bourne, yes.
Devontae Parker.
Oh, Devontae Parker's on there too. Yeah,
Was Kendrick Bourne on the?
They have Hunter Henry
Vikings
and Mike
now.
Gesicki.
No,
on
I know Kendrick.
Kendrick
Bourne's
Bourne.
on that
Yeah, it's Kendrick. Jesus Christ! I'm naming every
Kendrick Bourne,
Patriots
yeah.
receiver that's no longer on the team.
Every mid Patriots receiver from the last decade.
Exactly. So it's Kendrick Bourne and Devontae Parker, 2 very good tight ends in
team. Gesicki and
Hunter Henry. Yes. So still got those 2. Good Lord, finally got there. But yeah,
and
it was
Zeke at running back.
Zeke at running back and Rashad Moore Stevenson at running back too.
Zeke looks so much better than he has in the past.
Where in God's green earth was this Zeke? Where was this? What What were they Did they just miss? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Green Bay
wide
just missed a
left
field goal
badly.
in a barn burner where it's 6-0 against Denver. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what was going on in Dallas, but they just like, did they not know Zeke still had anything left in the tank? Or were they just not using him right? I don't understand.
I'm guessing it had to just be like the Tony Pollard, Dak Prescott, just type of like. I'm guessing it was just some like type of atmosphere. He was just like not engaged.
Yeah, it must
But
have
I
been
don't know
that.
how he's engaged on the New England Patriots. They're horrible.
Yeah, like I don't know what's going on there. Like that's
Chip on his shoulder.
that also could be it.
Maybe.
He's playing with more of an edge now. Maybe he's like, you know what, I got nothing to lose now because like Dallas already kicked me out. So you know what, I'm just gonna try to beat the hell out of people up in New England, and they did. They punched Buffalo in the mouth the entire game
For sure.
and went shot for shot with them and won. Like period. It was a great game for the Patriots.
How just Josh Allen every
There it
week.
is.
Like I say this every week. He goes out there. We're either gonna see MVP Allen or we're gonna see Diggs is somewhere out there.
Just
chuck
chuck it.
Like I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah. Also, someone very underrated that the Patriots just got back, J.C. Jackson.
Yes.
Looked very good out there.
Hmm.
Chargers, what are we doing? Anyway.
Could have really used him that safety in this game.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's a corner, but whatever.
Same thing.
Same difference.
Whatever.
It feels like we can't trust the Bills again until they maybe have success in the playoffs. They're 5-3 right now. There was a brief period of time where we said they were the best team in the league, and they lost to Jacksonville in London.
And then almost lost to the Giants at home.
Almost lost to the Giants at home. They lose today, and now I think we're at the point where
What's
the
their
Bills
record?
can no longer be
5-3.
considered a top 5 team for multiple weeks until they
Yeah.
figure it out. Because
Yeah.
as much as I want to say, like, I understand playing the Patriots every week, you can lose to the Patriots because they have that guy coaching the football team who just got to 300 wins today.
Yes.
And
congratulations, Bill. I hate you.
And I know the Bills don't play well in New England routinely, but it's just an inexcusable loss in a conference where you can get wins and in a division where you kind of have it under control. Now, if the Jets win next week, they're a game back of you.
Yeah.
Like you just don't want to have this controversy. You want to get the first seed, make teams come to Buffalo, stop having to play in Arrowhead or play in Cincinnati for these playoff games. And so I just think
They need to prove themselves.
they do, yeah.
Because they had their Super Bowl window that like apparently is closing shut very fast. I don't know what's going on because they made it to the AFC Championship game and then they've every year progressively gotten further and further away from that championship game. And at this rate, they might be in the wild card at this rate because they truly might not even win their division. Because if the Jets keep playing the way they're playing, like they are going to win games. They're not going to be good games, but they're just going to keep winning.
They don't. The Jets just need to win football games if Aaron Rodgers can potentially come back.
The Jets schedule coming up because I know they're playing the Giants next week. That's an incredibly winnable game for them.
Incredibly, yes.
They should absolutely beat the Giants.
And that offense
Where are
is
they playing the Giants at?
Shut up. Shut up.
Sorry.
I almost said out loud MetLife.
I almost did that too.
and it would have been because I thought of the Giants, not because of where the Jets play.
They're playing MetLife. Oh wait. Yeah. So they're playing at the Giants. They could beat the Chargers because for all we know,
Who knows? Yeah, we'll see how today
they
goes.
could beat the Raiders.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, they're going to beat the Raiders. Are horrible. We'll
So
get into
they'll
that.
probably split with the Bills. At least I'm.
Or they
hoping.
beat
I think the Bills
again.
will beat them.
For
Who
the
knows?
Bills' sake, I'm saying they're going to
But
split.
I mean,
Dolphins.
let's for a minute though imagine a potential world in which they lose to the Jets again because now the Jets are going to.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really rough ride
Because
then.
the Jets' end of the schedule
is
is
very
so.
not
So they
hard.
do play. So they play Bills, Dolphins back to back. That's going to be a hard two
That's
games.
tough.
But then they have Falcons, Texans, Dolphins again,
whatever,
Commanders, Browns, Patriots. Those are
Yeah.
some. There's some wins. There's a lot of wins in there that they could pull out.
And Wilson's looking a lot better
Wilson's
now.
looking better.
And Rodgers with his voodoo magic, whatever he's doing, could
ritual
be back.
he's performing in like the dungeons.
Dolphin
of,
noises, some stuff.
the
I don't
rituals
know.
of the dungeons of MetLife. I don't know what's going on down there, but he's doing something that's working.
POV, you're an athletic trainer.
Yeah,
seeing
he's just
Rodgers
like
in the locker
hovering.
room.
It's just like eyes rolled into his head.
Unfortunately for the Jets, they're just going to get no update on Aaron Rodgers and when he'll be ready until like. I don't think there will be a legit update until like December 1st.
Yeah.
And as much as there's been a lot of research, like people medical world's kind of been going crazy because like there's the overreaction from the general population, which is like no one ever recovered from the Achilles that fast, and all the doctors are like, well,
It's possible.
if you look at the recovery from a speed bridge procedure, which is a new type of Achilles procedure, this is pretty on track, just a little bit faster. So it'll be curious to see when he can come back out. The big question will be, he won't be 100% healthy for the season, but does he come out at 60% mobility with a ton of ankle wrap on his Achilles to be sure that he just can stand in place and throw?
Sorry to interrupt, but Travis Kelce touchdown.
All right, everybody, get ready for the Taylor Swift memes.
Yep.
They're gonna be glorious.
Hugging Donna Kelce.
They're already showing Taylor Swift.
Also, Kenny Pickett
off the
rushing
screen.
touchdown.
Yes.
He's the GOAT.
The Steelers are
anyway,
back.
the GOAT. He's the GOAT. I will hear nothing else. Pitt legend.
Russ sucks.
Russ sucks. So does Jordan Love.
Yep.
I did also want to mention about the Patriots game.
Yes.
Because I mentioned it last time. This is low-key a bad win from the Patriots. I'm sorry.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
no.
here we go.
Like, you had a chance to have one of the worst records in the league, and you could go draft Caleb Williams. And
Belichick would never do that.
But Mac Jones is the truth.
and I'm like, I just feel like you pick up 2 and 5, and it's
yeah.
just like you didn't need to. But I understand that you're trying to win football games. It's just like,
Yeah.
your team would have been better off losing. But I know that's not fun.
But it's funny.
It is funny. Anyway, this crazy vibe change. If you can talk about any team who went from like spirits are super high to spirits are super low, it's the Lions getting destroyed by the Ravens 38-6 today.
I know I say this all the time. They got pantsed.
Yep.
They went out there on national television and got pantsed by the Ravens.
And it wasn't like there's some people 2 weeks ago being like, low key, the Lions might be like top 5, top 10.
yeah.
Then
you
last
mean us?
week, what?
You mean
No,
us?
2
last
weeks
week?
ago we weren't saying that.
Oh, yeah,
Last week,
Yeah.
then it was like very popular to say the Lions were top 5, and you would have been correct in stating that. Now, well, I mean, the Lions just got mollywopped by the Ravens.
Yeah, that was. I was watching that red zone while doing some work, and I'm like, what is going on with the Lions? Like, they go on this 4-game win streak,
Yeah.
or whatever it was.
Yeah, they'd only lost to the
Seahawks.
in
OT.
week 2.
So Mark Andrews on National Tight End Day had 22 fantasy points, 2 touchdowns, 62 yards, I think on 4 catches, which is insane that he had that many fantasy points. But he decided to ball out his National Tight End Day. Happy Tight End Day to everybody that celebrates.
And the Raiders tight end
Especially
dropped a
Taylor
first
Swift
down
and
and
Travis
never saw the
Kelce.
ball again.
Okay.
Oh boy.
It felt like this game was coming though. Like it felt like
They were going to come back down to earth.
it felt like the Lions and Ravens were on very similar pedestals, but the
for different
Lions were
reasons,
being
yeah.
considered better than the Ravens. Then the Lions come into the Ravens' house
and they get
destroyed.
absolutely smoked.
And it wasn't even like it's closer than it seems. It was 38-0.
Yeah.
Garbage time touchdown, which shout out to Jahmyr Gibbs.
Finally found the end zone. Fantasy owners, we are no
Yeah.
longer in
We back.
hell.
We back.
We're back. Jahmyr Gibbs is finally seeing the field.
And next week he won't.
Yeah, no, he won't. Anyway.
But Ravens now are a bona fide top 5 team. I don't see a way they're not in the top 5.
It's because
I hate doing it, but the body
you're
of
right,
work.
You're right.
Yeah.
Because the issue is that like this we actually talked about this before we got on here today. But like it genuinely feels like the quality of NFL play has gone down. I think mostly because people overthink it a lot more than they should be, which is why I absolutely love the Eagles tush push or brotherly shove, because it's like, hey, we got a lot of strong guys. Let's just put our strong quarterback behind them and just push forward and get a first down. Like that's the thing that always drives me insane is where I watch like 4th and 1 and they go into shotgun. It's like, you're not going to get that. Like defenses are designed to stop a pass play. Why are you not just pushing?
Or when teams are doing like when people come on an end around and like try to like fake pitch it or
yeah, it's like stop
all this
overcomplicating this. Like you have talent, just use that talent. I understand defenses are. I think it's mostly because defenses are finally getting to the point where they're able to counter these fast-paced offenses. Because we've seen it where, Miami is kind of a different story because they literally just have the fastest human beings like on the planet, basically. Obviously not the fastest, the Olympians, whatever, but like the fastest people that we can put in on the football field. They're just running around. Like that's a whole new strategy that no one's really seen before. Like,
yeah, I mean, if you look at their like from a track perspective, if you look like their track PRs from when they were in high school
like,
and
they're
college,
nuts.
I mean, it's just they're extremely fast individuals for like from in football and track and field, and they're all on one team playing
Yes.
2 wide receivers and a running back, and even both their running backs are extremely quick.
Yeah. So I mean, because I feel like teams are being able to counter kind of like I say older, but it's like the sort of like Buffalo and Kansas City styles that what from what it used to be, where it's like you have like one guy like taking off the top of the defense, then you have just a bunch of underneath routes and stuff. Defenses are slowly evolving, and like they're using different types of stunts, different types of like fake pressures. Their defenses are getting smaller overall. Like players are just getting faster. They're no longer like those big bruising linebackers. It's much more of like a Fred Warner, where he's like, he's like, he's only 235, 240 pounds, but he runs a 4.4 and can get all over the field and still hits like a truck. So it's just very different now. And I forgot where I was going with this.
You're saying the play of the NFL is down.
Yes. Play of the NFL is down mostly because we're seeing a lot more defensive heavy games. It's just like, it sucks because it's not as fun to watch if you're like kind of just watching the game because you want like touchdowns. It's just more entertaining. But when you see those very defensively centered games, and then a lot of the times it's making the offense make the mistakes. It's you let them overthink it. Like, just sit in your zone, do your job, and just let them make a mistake.
Well, this is why we've been talking about how if you don't have an elite quarterback, you're going to really struggle. And it's because the defenses have been able to figure out the quarterbacks who aren't so great. So when you look at the next game, which is the Falcons and Bucks, both defenses are very easily able to handle Baker Mayfield and Desmond Ridder because they don't have the top end talent. So we'll go over to that game real quick. And the stats for both quarterbacks weren't terrible, but it's very clear that Desmond Ridder, number one, is not the quarterback for the Falcons, and he won't be. And then number two, while Baker can be a good story and whatnot, he's still not great because they aren't able to elevate their teams and their players over the top. I mean, Falcons have an okay defense. The Bucks have a good defense, I would say. But 16-13, it's not a great game. And I mean, kudos to the Falcons. You go 4-3. You're now leading the AFC South.
NFC.
Oh, NFC South, yeah.
But the Souths are terrible.
They are.
The NFC South is
that one's abysmal, but
trash.
whatever. Remember how we were saying the Bucks were going to be so good? Anyway,
it was an overreaction. It was in the overreaction segment for a reason.
But
that's where my Kyle Schwarber take belonged to.
Exactly. But we also just cursed Baker Mayfield. I'm so sorry, Baker.
Honestly, though, like, everybody in the media is cursing Baker Mayfield.
Were we even surprised? Really, not really. But I mean, it's just, I don't know what has been going on, because like I feel like, honestly, I genuinely feel like we were almost spoiled a little bit, because like when you really look at the talent in the NFL at the quarterback position that we grew up watching, it is insane.
Yes.
We had almost like half the teams had a Hall of Famer quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was like, so what? We had Ben Roethlisberger,
Brady,
Tom Brady,
Breeze,
Manning.
both Mannings.
We had Michael Vick.
Yes.
Yep. We had who else? Who else? Am I thinking?
Philip Rivers,
Matt Ryan.
Yes.
Joe Flacco.
He was really good.
Joe Flacco is a Super Bowl MVP.
He's a Super Bowl MVP. Let me think about who.
Cam Newton for his stretch in those games.
Alex Smith.
Yep.
Matt Ryan is also an NFL MVP.
Colin Kaepernick.
Yep.
Like early Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about Russ. Yeah.
We had the random Ryan Fitzpatrick amazing games that he would have every once in a while. I mean, like, you had
Mark Sanchez
for like 1 year.
You just felt like other guys could come in and play the quarterback position well. Like, it is the barrier. I don't know if it's the defense. I don't know how the game is changing this way.
What's happening?
But the barrier to be a good quarterback in this league is getting so hard, because even when you start looking at
the pocket passer is dead.
We were saying that Jared Goff has been playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the league,
and then he just gets demolished.
And he gets demolished today. Now you're like, oh, we're left with like Pat, Joe.
Not even Joe right now.
Yeah, but when Joe's out, Pat, Joe, Josh Allen when he's not being like dumb.
Herbert to an even bigger extent of when.
And then
he's not
I would
being an
say
idiot.
after that, there's a huge Trevor, and after those five, maybe there's a big gap.
And then like Lamar, maybe.
Yeah,
just of like
Lamar
pure talent.
And Jalen Hurts, who hasn't been playing well this year. Like,
oh wait, Tua actually, this season.
But even there, it's just like you have so many questions. There's one guy in the league, two guys in the league I don't have question marks about, and it's Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
and Joe Burrow it's his calf right now.
It's clearly his calf injury, I think,
and he still doesn't have an offensive line. But other than Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow, there's not one guy in the league where I'm like, I know he'll get the job done at the end of the day.
Yeah, there's nobody like when you get the ball in their hands. Oh, I also just forgot Matt Stafford because he's literally still playing.
Oh yeah, man.
He's literally still in the league. But like, because I was just about to say where like there's so few of those players left. That's like when the ball is in their hand, it's like, okay, they're gonna do well. They're gonna drive down the field. They're gonna score. Like when Brady,
or they're just not going to have like a terrible game out of the blue for no reason.
it's like at minimum they're gonna be a game manager, and that was like a whole thing for a long time. Like, oh, this quarterback's not good. They're just a game manager, so they just win games. Like, who cares?
Well, that's like the whole Purdy debate, right? Is like because people have been questioning like, is Purdy like last
Is
pick in the
he
draft? Is he good or
whatever,
not? It's
yeah.
like, well, he's lost one regular season game and he's played 13 of them or
Yeah.
something like that.
13, 14, like
Yeah, he's played a lot of regular season games. Only
a
lost
lot of teams
one.
would kill to have a guy like that.
That was Eli Manning for a lot of his career.
For
more
like
so.
definitely the second half of his career he was much more of a game manager. But it's like if you're winning games,
It-
who cares?
If you're a good manager, then and you win games, then that's
Who cares? You're doing your job,
you might not be excellent, you might not be a Hall of
but
Fame,
you're also not throwing the game away.
yeah.
That's that I think is the big
Because
difference.
we see so many guys throw the game away. I mean, we can just everybody was trying to throw the game away in the Commanders Giants game.
Yeah.
Everybody was trying to throw the game away in the Browns Colts game.
Yep.
There's even though that game was high scoring, there were so many mistakes across the
Yep.
board. It
Bucks,
just constantly
Falcons,
happens.
another one. Like
Bills, Patriots. I mean, the Patriots fumbled the ball.
Patriots.
I know it's
fumbled
not like a Mac Jones error, but the Patriots fumbled the ball.
Josh Allen
late in the
just
game.
throwing the ball wherever.
Yeah, it just happens all over the place, and I don't know what it's for. I don't know.
I don't know. I
what
don't
you
know.
account for it, but it just feels like I feel like the Chiefs are just going to win the Super Bowl again because there's going to be one guy in the league
Who's just not going to be an
who's
idiot.
not going to be an idiot for 4 straight games, and
Of course,
it'll work out.
knock on wood, because at this rate, everybody's just going to throw the ball
Yeah.
away. Because and that's the whole thing. Is like Jalen Hurts last week against the Jets. It was like, what happened?
Exactly. Yep.
Like his whole thing is that it's like what made him an MVP candidate was that he just made the right decisions when he needed to make them and didn't mess up. And it's like, okay, if nobody's open, I'm just going to run and get 3 or 4 yards. That's it. And then for some reason, he's chucking up like 4 picks, basically.
He was channeled his inner Josh Allen that whole game.
Yeah.
I don't know why he had to.
I don't know.
Yeah. So
I
I'd
don't know
really,
what's
I'd
happening.
really,
I don't know what's happening.
if anybody
makes
knows,
sense.
if any smart football people have like,
If
a good
there's any
answer,
NFL coaches watching this, please shoot me a DM real quick.
yeah, shoot us a DM, come on the pod. Please explain to us why
this is happening.
suddenly there's like a few quarterbacks in the league we can actually trust.
Yeah.
I just want to talk to Arthur Smith about his decision with Bijan Robinson today. If you knew he was sick, why did you activate him? Why did you give me the false hope that my fantasy team could win it in 2 leagues this week? Because Bijan was playing the Bucks, and I thought he was going to pop off. Arthur Smith,
Yeah, also that's from me too, because Bijan was in one of my leagues.
Yeah, that's
so
also-
that's
that's also-
just one
That's
for
also
me.
from me. The whole Talking Up Curry podcast.
Yeah,
is-
just quick little.
you are a hack, Arthur Smith. I hope you lose your job. You
Like-
should not be a head coach.
although like I know NFL coaches aren't like concerned about fantasy football. Really
Come on.
like suiting up a guy for a game that he's not going to play. Like I mean, let's 4 snaps. Like
He is your starting running back. You have to let people know, regardless of anything.
Well, the whole thing is like, okay, well, maybe the defense is going to be trying to wonder if Bijan's going to play, whatever. But like at that point, like if he's not playing, they don't care.
Yeah.
just deactivate him 5 minutes before the start. It's not like
Yeah.
it's not like the Bucks are going to be like, guys. We
gotta
my God,
rewrite our
in 5
entire-
minutes. We need to do all our research to stop Tyler Algier. Like, no, it was probably going to be the same game plan.
It was going to be the same thing. And then it's like, okay, we don't have to worry about Bijan now. Now we don't have to worry about Bijan,
Yeah.
one of their better weapons. Okay, let's focus on Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, that was messed up.
And also, they were going to do that anyway when they saw he wasn't on the field.
Yeah,
Like, they're not
yeah.
going to keep their defense in and like tell them to run a play to counter Bijan if Bijan's not playing. Doesn't really make sense.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
No, this is what was going through Arthur Smith's head. He put on Bijan for a couple snaps and had him just run out into the flat. That's all he
Yeah.
did. He thought he was distracting something.
Because
But too bad you have Desmond Ritter at QB, who
It
throws
didn't really
absolute
matter.
lasers to the defense.
Yeah.
I hate Arthur Smith.
who even won that game? I don't even know. Sorry.
the Falcons won.
Falcons won.
Wow, I wouldn't even know.
Youngwick, who had a game-winning field
Oh,
goal.
that's
That's
right.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
It
Now I
was
remember.
such a terrible game.
Ugh.
Peter, you love to talk about games that nobody wants to win.
Oh, Giants Commanders?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. Yeah, so that was probably one. I mean, okay, look. Every single year, the NFL, for some ungodly reason, decides to televise Commanders versus Giants. Please stop televising it. Nobody wants to watch it. I promise you. It is every year for the past at least 3 years has been the most disgusting and rancid games to watch. The worst football you could possibly see. But this game, okay, Giants get up to a 14-0 lead. Holy crap, this looks like a game. maybe the Giants will actually just blow a team out.
One would
No,
think.
no, they won't, because it's the New York Football Giants. They refuse to do that. So then they decide, hey, let's just stop playing offense. And that's exactly what they did. They stopped playing offense, and then suddenly the Commanders get back into the game. Huge swing of momentum when Sterling Shepard decides, hey, I'm just not going to catch this punt, but I'm going to let it hit me right in the face. And then that happens. They recover it in the red zone. Defense tries to hold for as long as possible. They eventually get in, score, whatever. And then it was 14-7. And then nothing happens until the end of the fourth quarter. And then the Commanders are inside the red zone, and they absolutely butcher a fourth down conversion. Sam Howell is no longer the truth. I'm very sorry to say. The Giants.
That was a decent pass to Dotson.
Bro, that was so far behind him.
He almost got killed, though.
He would have gotten obliterated. I don't know if he was hanging on to that. If the ball was out there.
No, I'm saying Sam Howell almost got sacked.
Sam Howell almost got obliterated by Isaiah Simmons.
Yes.
He spun out of there, threw a pass to Dodson, which Dodson then would have gotten obliterated by Pinnock.
Which, I mean, Terry McLaurin was getting destroyed the entire game as well.
Deontay Banks actually locked him down like basically all game, which was very impressive.
But then the one play where Terry got the ball and he got just destroyed from the back. I cannot believe he held onto that ball.
Yeah, that was a great catch. I think that was like a 27-yard catch or
He had
something.
like 3 catches for like 73 yards or something for the game.
Yeah, and I think Deontay Banks was only on for that one play, I think. So very good job by Banks.
Something is going right for the Giants.
Holy crap! Oh my God, who would have guessed? But anyway,
not that you care.
Not that I care. Anyway, but watching the end of that game, oh my God. So I think there's 53 seconds left in the game. The Commanders have 2 timeouts. The Giants start kneeling the ball. That is not enough. That is too much time to start kneeling the ball. So they're like, oh, wait, what are we doing? We need to figure this out. So I guess they're trying to do the thing where like they just hold on to the ball for as long as possible and then knee it to force them to take the timeouts. But here's the thing. That's still not enough time to burn. So what happens is on third down, I guess, they take that final knee, whatever, and they burn as much clock as possible. And there's 33 seconds left on the clock. But a Washington player goes down. So then the clock stops at 33 seconds. So the Giants now have to then punt the ball. But oh, wait.
The play clock resets.
Because it is a defender that goes down in a fairly obvious way that he wasn't hurt. It's very obvious that he's just trying to take a dive to stop the clock. The play clock resets, and then there's a runoff. So now the Giants can just sit there and do literally nothing for 33 seconds and let the game clock run out.
And they were deep in their zone. Like, that's a dangerous punting situation.
They were on their own 2-yard line.
Like, that was an extremely dangerous, like cook up whatever special team play you got. Like, you can make, like, you could change this game and flip it around. It is crazy that they were able to get out of it.
Stop airing these games. Stop putting them on TV. It's so ugly. I mean, the Giants defense played great, but I mean, again, it's
the Commanders.
It's the Commanders offense. They're not good. Like, yeah, the Giants defense really was getting home. I think they had like at least 5 sacks during the game. Whatever. I don't really care. That offense was putrid. Jalen Hyde had some great catches.
He almost had a one-hander that was crazy.
He almost had an absolutely nasty.
I thought the Giants skills players played great today. Waller got going. Barkley was going pretty decent, and then Jalen Hyde played.
But they just couldn't get in the goddamn end zone.
Oh no, Taylor and Brittany have a handshake.
They do?
No
way.
No,
Is
it
it
just
tough?
happened. And she's friends with Jackson. No. Oh no.
So for anybody who's wondering, apparently Taylor Swift and Brittany Mahomes have their own special handshake, just like all the NFL players do. I think that's probably the meme. And then Taylor Swift then turns around and high fives none other than Jackson Mahomes.
Oh no.
That man is a predator and deserves to be locked up.
I didn't even know he was. I hadn't seen him in a lot of games recently.
There's a reason why.
Patrick
I know,
Bandit.
but
Yeah, because he aggressively sexually assaulted a woman and didn't have any charges pressed on him because that person received death threats from his fans, so she couldn't press charges. I hate you, Jackson Mahomes.
moving on.
Moving on.
We're going to spend as much as 30 seconds on this game. Bears beat the Raiders 30-12.
No one cares. No one cares.
The Raiders
No one
are
cares.
so bad.
Okay, Raiders are bad. that quarterback might be the truth to beat Justin Fields out for a job.
And this is horrible for Justin Fields. I mean, we've talked about how bad of a season he's had, but
Yeah.
when your backup quarterback comes in and just plays as good as you could have played, you've lost your job.
Yep.
Anyway,
He had 53 friends and family members there to watch him put up a lot of points, which was awesome. But the Raiders, you're getting sent to the SEC at this rate.
yep, and really cool for an undrafted kid too.
Awesome
Play-
story there for him. I'm so happy that he was able to do that.
Yep.
But
Where did he go to college?
no one cares.
I do. Do your independent research and get back to us. Browns beat the Colts 39-38, and I'm just gonna this is the weirdest game of the week to me besides the Patriots Bills game because the Browns defense had historical grades
Me too.
through the first 6 weeks, and then they let up 38 points to the Gardner Minshew led Colts. It doesn't make any sense. And then they end up pulling out a win with PJ Walker because Deshaun went into concussion protocol, then just sat out the second half.
Because he didn't feel like it.
And the Browns still win in a high-scoring game, and the ref bails out the Browns at the end.
Two bad penalties at the end there. One of them was kind of debatable whether or not it was holding or PI, but they called it PI even though it was an uncatchable pass. But I guess they must have thought it was catchable because they saw a Browns fan in the stands. They must have thought that he was a receiver and it was catchable, whatever. There was also just I think it was illegal contact or something that was just atrocious. Whatever. They get bailed out. Horrible. But I mean, if you're the Colts, if you have the lead like that, you got to find a way to win. Because look, your defense is amazing. You're doing decent against the Browns for a lot of the time, but you're bending and then you're breaking. Because I get the whole idea of all right, bend, don't break. You got to kind of take what you can do. The offense is going to be able to get down the field a little bit, but you got to be able to make those plays when it counts. And I know it sucks in the red zone where you're really trying, but you can't, the refs are going to be so flag heavy in the end zone. That's going to happen. And it's the complete polar opposite of what the refs were doing against the Giants last week.
Yeah.
I know this doesn't make any sense, but you need to be hands off. If you see the ball flying over your head, just get off them. Just don't even try to do anything.
Yep.
I know it sucks. I know it's probably completely unfair for me to say this on a chair in the middle of Pittsburgh, but it's, of all times, the refs are going to be throwing flags there because they're going to favor the offense. That's just how it works.
Yep. And
it sucks. I hate it, but that's just how it works.
For the Browns, it's a crucial win because it keeps them in the division
needed
contention.
that.
I mean, Steelers are playing right now in a winnable game. They're losing right now, but it's a winnable game.
Mm-hmm.
You needed that win, especially coming off of a bye week.
Yeah.
So big win for them. For the Colts, it stinks. I will just keep making the argument that it's better for the Colts to lose and get a good draft pick to protect Anthony Richardson.
Which I agree with that, but I think the way that that game ended just sucks.
Yeah, I mean, there's a taste of that's just that leaves a horrible taste in the players. I mean, if you're Shane Steichen, who I'm rooting for, how did you go back to the locker room and tell your team?
You did great, guys,
but
we got hosed.
Yeah, exactly. So very frustrating. Raj, would you like to do a 4:00 game rundown real quick, and we can give some reactions on some early scores
right now?
So I've been watching all these games going on, and Chiefs, Chiefs Chargers is actually a really good game.
24-17, right?
Yeah. I think the Chiefs still have the ball. It was almost a fumble, but incomplete pass. That's a really good game going on right now. Mahomes looks great. Kelsey's going off.
How does Herbert look?
Herbert looks really good right now.
So we're actually having a
shootout. It's a good game.
Felt like this was probably the first game on the Chiefs schedule where they really needed to play a good football game. I mean, the Chargers are a good football team, so despite their record, so I'm not going to say they need to go out and win big to make a point, but this is the game where they need to start.
It's going to be a shootout.
They need to finally start locking in and getting their offense going a little bit, and not kind of it felt like they were floundering around for the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Cardinals Seahawks. It's just it's a back and forth right now. I think
exactly what I expect from a Jonathan Gannon led 1-5 football team.
Cardinals are down 10-17 right now, but Dobbs is driving down the field after he just got.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure they'll lose by 3 points.
As soon as I said that, he just got murked by 4 people.
And Jamal Adams punched him in the side of the head.
Yep.
While trying to get a ball out, maybe. I don't really know what his logic was there.
4th and 2. Seahawks getting the ball back. Anyways, Packers Broncos. Moving on.
Yeah, it's currently 9-0 in Packers Broncos. 3 field goals.
What I do want to say though is it feels like some of these Broncos players are auditioning
To
to the
go
trade
get
deadline
traded.
in
Yep.
9 days.
That's what it looks like.
Because I think didn't they say everybody was available
Yeah,
essentially?
the report was everyone is available. I was thinking I saw Cortland Sutton catch a pass on the way over here. He's a huge guy that could be traded.
I swear to God, if he ends up on a good team and he starts popping off, I'm gonna be so mad,
The Chiefs?
dude. If he ends up on the goddamn
God.
Chiefs,
We did this with Jerry Judy last week. We don't need to
we
do it
did this
again.
already.
Whatever.
But
The Chargers really needed Eckler back. Just forgot
True.
that.
well, I guess like
Back.
let's do a little exercise. We go around the league real quick. Like
What?
where could these Broncos receivers, Jerry Judy and Cortland Sutton, who I think are both evenly ranked,
Yeah.
probably in my head, like what teams could really use their services going
Carolina
into the,
needs a receiver.
aside from the Chiefs, because we've been
I'm okay. So here's my thing: is like you have those bottom feeder teams that might trade for them, but I'm thinking, what contenders could trade for them right now?
like what big, because there's always this big deadline move that pushes the Super Bowl champion, eventual Super Bowl champion, over the top. It's
Because
happened.
here's my thing: the Broncos are not likely to trade in division. They're less likely to trade in the AFC.
Tend to agree.
They're more likely to trade in the NFC. I would be terrified if either Jerry Judy or Cortland Sutton ended up on the 49ers.
Yeah.
I would
bad.
too. I just don't know if
I
that
don't think the
team
49ers
does it
have
with the
money,
with the
though.
cap, because they're gonna lose.
They would find a way, bro.
I know
Wait,
Yeah.
aren't they both on rookie deals?
they are, but they'll have to pay very
Mhm.
soon. They'll have to be on a bigger contract. So
Okay,
you
sign
it would
them
be
to
a
a one-year
rental.
deal
Yeah,
and trade
it would be the rental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ravens are super interesting
Ravens are a
Ravens.
really good shout. That's a
Mhm.
really, really good one.
because
You
they're
got
a
Aguilar,
little bit more
Bateman.
veteran than Zay Flowers. So you'd have like
Yeah.
a
They have
Zay,
Odell, but like he's been playing fine.
but you'd
Like,
feel a lot more confident about like a Zay Flowers, Jerry Judy, Odell, Mark Andrews type of
or
receiving core.
replace him with like a Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
but, like,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
I feel like that would make your team a lot better
That
and
would be
give
a
your
lot better.
offense a dynamic to it.
Low-key,
Seahawks low key too.
Seahawks
honestly.
could, Browns could.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of just like other teams that are kind
Giants. Maybe
I mean-
if they can steal somehow.
maybe.
I don't want to say like this wouldn't put this particular team like make them that much better, but for the Patriots, it could be almost a way to give
Yeah.
Mac
Mhm.
Jones a last ditch. Like we're giving you
Hey,
another
Yeah.
small weapon. Hopefully, this can turn it around because
Mhm.
he is playing for his job.
It's like we're going to give you as best of a chance as possible to keep your job. Now it's on you. I think players on defense. I mean, if they're trading everybody, Pat Surtain could go somewhere for like maybe a first. and
No,
a
Pat
couple-
Surtain's a guaranteed first. Like they're
Yeah, he'll be a first and something else. I'm trying to think of like what defenses might need a corner.
Do
I
they have
mean-
any good linebackers on the Broncos?
Kinda. Not really anybody that you would want on the Eagles. Like if that's what you're
Safeties?
wondering. Justin Simmons.
yeah.
I mean, but he's already on a big contract. You're not going to be
Yeah.
able to afford him.
That's true.
If you're going to go for anybody, you're going to go for Budda Baker because he's like
Yeah.
kind of like
I would take Buddha. I'm fine with that.
yeah. But I don't know if the Cardinals are going to trade him. I think they're going to keep him.
I don't know. Sirianni, Gannon,
I don't know if
boys.
I don't know if he's going to send one of his best players away though.
Yeah,
That's
but
the
he
thing.
took Kaiser White from
I
us.
don't
so-
see Gannon trading away defensive guys. I think
because he is.
I
a
think
defensive
I
guy.
truly
Yes.
believe Gannon's on that team to have a bad year this year, get a good draft pick, and flip this team around in 1 or 2 more years.
I can see that happen.
Yeah.
I could see the Cardinals flipping it because with how they've been playing, it's been shocking how
Yeah.
how good they've been playing.
I genuinely think they're in it for Drake May, Caleb Williams.
Oh, he's old.
Who?
Buddha Baker, 27.
Bro,
First safety.
He's got like
that's- first safety.
3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years,
Mm.
bro.
Yeah.
Bro, you're what,
Dude, we're-
you need to pick a lane.
I'm trying to push a narrative. I want him.
Like, bro, you're like, dude, why don't we have Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts and Justin Simmons and Devontae Adams and like,
Yeah.
bro, you're
But
not-
we're still underdogs.
yeah, but you're still underdogs. Shut up. I don't want to hear.
Looking ahead to the Sunday night game, Dolphins Eagles. I mean, this is a great Sunday night game to have. Great job by
Alabama
the schedulers.
versus Oklahoma.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little nervous. I think this is a big test for the Dolphins defense and a big test for the Eagles offense.
Yes.
The Eagles defense has not been great, but right now there's more question marks about
the Eagles offense.
the Eagles offense, just in terms of knowing that if they don't get Jalen Hurts right, if they don't get that whole process right, it'll be good. So Eagles have a favorable matchup. They're not going against a great defense, and the Dolphins defense needs to come out and prove themselves.
I did see Blankenship is out with rib
Blankenship
injury.
Yeah.
is out.
And that's part of the problem where like I'm not too concerned with the Eagles defense because they've just been a rotating string of injuries for so long. Like, at what point can I evaluate this team?
Mhm.
But it'll be interesting to see how they make Tua uncomfortable. They have a deadly front rush, and we know that
Oh,
Tua
yeah.
is not great like outside the pocket. Like
Yeah.
he's much better protected in the pocket. So I think it's a fun matchup. Eagles are favored by 3 points. I'd probably like bet the Dolphins +3, just getting value.
+3, yeah.
Just getting
I think
value on
that's-
that.
I don't think it's a bad shot.
I mean, it's 3 because they're drawing the game even.
is it
Because
in the link? or?
in link?
Okay,
So they're drawing the
that's-
game
yeah,
even.
Yeah, that's because the 3-point favorites is just like home field.
Home field advantage. So, and then tomorrow we have 49ers Vikings.
That should be a shootout.
I think the 49ers will come to play completely.
I mean,
I don't think after getting embarrassed last week,
that's a good point.
I think
Can you check real quick where the 49ers Vikings games? Are
it's in Minnesota.
Okay. Well, it's indoor. It's not really that. I
Is
mean,
that
yeah.
Monday?
yeah, that's Monday night.
Okay.
I mean,
Oh, Kirk on prime time. We already
oh,
know.
wait,
yeah.
oh my
Good
god,
shout.
how could I
Good
forget?
shout.
How could I
Hammer the
forget?
alt spread. Niners
Ah.
-25.
Jesus, I forgot.
Raj,
about
that was
Oh,
a great
boy.
shout.
I totally forgot about primetime Kirk. Okay, yeah, hammer the 49ers.
The lights. Turn them off.
They're too bright.
Get those
The
lights off.
I love
Anyway.
that clip because after the lights are off, he's like, "Oh, this is so much better."
yeah.
Those dang lights. If you don't get it, it's a Donald Trump campaign trail like type of video. Go you can just look it up.
Yeah, it's such a quality meme right there.
Yeah, it's been all over the place.
No. Get
no,
those lights off.
no.
Anyway,
All in great context. Is just a quick note. The NBA season is going to start up soon, so we will start talking about it probably once the MLB is done and we have some more time.
probably once MLB is done, because like the
I
first
know what's
couple
happening.
games, unless there's some crazy storyline going on, the beginning of the NBA doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean,
Until like the All-Star break.
this is I will go on my soapbox one more time. The MLB season needs to be moved up a little bit. The NBA season needs to be moved back a little bit, and I think it would make things a lot better. And it makes a lot of sense because no NBA player wants to play 82 games. And I'm sorry, baseball does not need 162 games in their season.
Yeah, they don't.
They would do just fine
Yeah.
with 140.
Yeah.
Ain't no way.
Yeah. What?
The Chargers head coach needs to be fired for his decision.
What did Brandon Staley just do? Okay, so he went for it on 4th and goal. Justin Herbert drops back and fires. Oh, it's deflected
and picked off on 3rd down.
on 3rd and goal.
Yep.
I thought it was 4th. Wait, what do you? Oh my god. Whatever. Why is he? There's a linebacker right there spying. Okay, whatever. Bad play design. Anyway.
Well, he doesn't design the play. That's Kellen Moore.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
That is
right.
Kellen Moore.
What is
Ah.
Kellen Moore doing? I actually like Kellen Moore as a coach.
Oh yeah, now you like him because he's not playing for the
Exactly.
Cowboys.
Yep.
Anyway,
And yeah, that's just up top. But yeah, I think they need some league.
They need to change
this
some stuff
is just
around.
way too much.
also sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but isn't this the year where they're doing that like in-season tournament thing?
It is.
Yeah.
What
Which is-
is that?
I have no
So
idea.
at some point during the year, which I don't know the exact dates, they're just going to do a little in-season tournament dealio. We can kind of cover it more on the next pod.
What
I
do
think
you
that would be
win?
better, so I can look it up. But
yeah. What,
uh,
do we know like what you win? Is it,
there's
like,
an advantage in the playoffs. I'm pretty sure,
oh,
there's money on the line.
Mhm.
Each player gets like 100,000 or
Yeah.
something.
okay.
I can't wait for the Sixers to win this.
I'm
Of course, this is the only thing
Oh,
we're
you're
win.
gonna! I can't wait for those like participation award
Yep.
trophies of like you won the in-season tournament,
Yep.
and then they get bounced in the second round.
Yep. What I'll be
again.
really curious to see is again who takes what teams take it seriously or what other teams just say,
Who cares?
I don't care. We'll do it in the actual playoffs. The league kicks off on the 24th, Tuesday, which is when this podcast will come out. It'll be Lakers Nuggets, which is a great game, and then Suns Warriors. The schedulers do a really good job picking the opening games. I love those two games being on. For Lakers Nuggets, there's been all this jarring back and forth
Yeah.
between LeBron and Mike Malone, and Mike Malone's like, oh, all the media attention on the Lakers, and the Lakers are like, ayo, bro, we didn't do this to ourselves. We just did this is just the media giving us attention. We didn't choose that, and
Sorry.
we got a big live reaction on the pod
Devin
here.
Witherspoon just put somebody legitimately in the turf.
That's
Oh my!
Rondale Moore just
That
got
was-
So
killed.
That
uh,
was vicious.
Rondale Moore catching a quick out,
Oh my
turns and sees Devin
God.
Witherspoon coming from about 15 yards out. Perfect tackle of shoulder to shoulder.
and Brett Maher shakes another field goal.
This league is absolutely insane. We can't go 30 seconds without talking about the NFL.
What the Broncos are on? What's about to happen?
Oh my god! Yeah, but Devin Witherspoon probably is going to win.
Broncos with a good rush.
I'm
Does Patrick Mahomes have 2 interceptions?
One. Unless they counted that, but that
whatever.
I have no idea.
Also, it's going to be Devin Witherspoon versus Jalen Carter for defensive rookie of the year.
Yes, and Jalen Carter's going to win. Anyway, Suns Warriors, also another exciting basketball game. Just because it's KD
Yeah.
and Steph, and I don't know. It's just a funny game. The Suns, they had like their big three looks so good in preseason. Just they're
On
just hitting
paper,
pull up jumpers all
yeah.
over the place. Like it just you can't stop it. It'll be very interesting to see. And then
The paper tigers.
yeah, otherwise, I mean, I think what's really exciting going into this year is it's clear Victor Wembanyama is going to be must see TV.
Yeah.
So every single game the Spurs are in, it's going to be like the league pass team everybody wants to watch. And then so the way they do it is they usually have the Tuesday night games be really good. Then Wednesday night games are really mid, and that's reflected in the schedule. And then Thursday they have
Better.
the Sixers Bucks, which will be
Yeah.
a high game, and
Yeah.
then the Suns Lakers. So
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, the Lakers, unfortunately for them, they've got like some tough games off rip because they want to like garner attention. But the Lakers are probably like, bro, like we might start like 0-2.
Yeah. 0-2, 0-3, just because of how good these teams are.
Yeah, Anthony Davis had 5 blocks in the first quarter of a preseason
Hey,
game.
he's really good at basketball when his legs decide to not just completely crumble underneath him.
Indeed.
Will Zion play over or under 50 games?
Oh, that's a great question.
I haven't even heard a lot from Zion in the preseason, so I don't even know.
Crazy dunk. That's about it.
No, they all do.
Yeah, I'll just go on. I'll just hit the under, just for
Because
that.
Zion's fat. We don't actually care. We want him to do well. It's just funny.
Yeah. But that's enough NBA talk, and we'll probably start covering the NBA lightly on the pod, but really after MLB season starts, we can start
Yes.
getting invested again.
Yeah.
But anyone got anything to say before we head out of here?
And on hockey now.
Yeah, on hockey.
Hockey has started. I mean, it's not going to be relevant until the playoffs. So it doesn't even
That number 1 pick overall is
Connor
dirty
Bernard.
with it.
yeah,
He's crazy good.
yeah, Connor Bernard. Yeah, he looks like he's going to be like the next Sidney Crosby.
Good,
Like,
good for the sport.
good for the sport. Also, that the lottery was definitely rigged because the Blackhawks had like a 0.1% chance of getting it, and then conveniently, the very good historic franchise that for 1 year decided to be really bad suddenly gets the next best thing. Oh, that's convenient.
So what was strange about that is I don't follow hockey that close, so I was shocked when the Blackhawks got the pick because I thought the Blackhawks were really good. Then I did some digging
And then it's
and
like,
found out,
oh.
they usually are good. They just happen to get the best player coming out of the draft in many years.
Yes, yeah,
This time, like a generational talent,
yeah,
which is
that's
really,
convenient. Yeah.
really convenient, really funny. We were talking about it before the pod as well. Flag football officially an Olympic sport
Yes.
in 2028. If you have not had an opportunity to check out all the memes and all the videos of the flag football and us, like the whole joke is that
The United
the
States is
U.S.
just
is gonna
yeah,
like shank everybody in the
yeah.
Olympics, and it's like, oh, North Korea cornerback after Justin Jefferson gets 6 touchdowns
Yeah,
on him.
literally.
And
never seen
everything.
his family again.
Yeah. And they're just so funny. So if you don't have an opportunity to check it out, it's just taking random countries across the world.
Yeah.
And
It's like the LiQWYD guy looking at Tyreek Hill standing across from him.
It's like the picture of Jimmy Butler hanging over.
they're high quality memes. So it'll be actually cool for the Olympics too, because I think a lot of people will tune in to watch the U.S. flag football team
Which is
because there's investment there. I mean,
Yeah.
apparently the NFL is encouraging
it,
people.
because think about
Michael
like,
Parsons is like, I'm doing it.
Yeah, Michael, dude.
Michael needs to start running his mouth. He's
Yeah.
running his mouth way too much.
But so okay, who is the starting? How many people play on the flag football team? Is it like
7?
7, I think. Okay, so who's your quarterback? There's a right answer to this.
Patrick Mahomes.
No, it's Lamar Jackson. If that dude gets out of the open field, no one is touching.
There
him.
are rules to scrambling as a QB in flag football.
And
They can only do I don't know the official rules. I think it's like once per drive. or
Okay.
no,
something
let's
dumb.
save this for a segment for the next pod
Yeah.
episode,
that's fair.
and we can come up with our teams.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
do that. So this is incentive.
Oh, we'll do our drafts.
Yes.
Oh my
We'll
gosh.
draft an edit.
Okay, I like
right,
this.
I like
Okay,
it.
everyone stay tuned. Next
Next
week's
week.
episode, we're drafting a flag football team, and we'll have the rules, breaking it down on the
Yes.
set right here.
All right. Tell your friends, tell your dogs, tell your cats, tell anybody. Tune in next week.
I'm
This is
picking Des Bryant first overall.
Oh my
This is the
God.
coconut curry. We're out.
Peace.